Today we're going to be talking about chain stitch. In crochet, the chain stitch is the foundation of very many items. But did you know that the chain stitch can actually be used to make jewelry? Oh, yes, it can. Now, let's just refresh our memory about what chain stitches are. Do you know how to hold your yarn and hook very well? Although in this case, we're just going to use the yarn for demonstration. The main thing is actually going to be done with wire. But just to refresh our memory, you hold your yarn or wire in a way to ensure that it moves freely. Now, some people have formed the habit of wrapping it around their finger. If you're used to it and you've learned some speed, that's fine. But if not, it's going to be more important for you to learn how to work without having to stop. That makes things much faster. So once you've secured your yarn in such a way that your tension can be just right all through, you would now proceed. Some people will start with the magic circle. Some people would start, by forming a loop on the chain. Some people will start by forming a loop. Some would actually start by just twisting the yarn around and around until they have the twisted part, which they can then pinch and continue to make their chain stitches from there. Whichever method you are used to, you are free to follow it. Just ensure that you learn how to work with speed. So here we go. We're going to make some chain stitches using ordinary yarn. And look at it very well. These are chain stitches. When you've practiced doing your chain stitches enough, the chain stitches should actually be relatively uniform, beautifully smooth, without twisting. If you want to make a necklace, in this case, if you want something a little more stylish than ordinary yarn, we can actually use wire as well as beads. In this case, we're planning to use 0.31 mm wire, but we're going to double it. 0.315 has the kind of flexibility that we want, and so we'll use that, which will make the jewelry a little soft without falling apart. 0.2 mm wire would easily be too thin, and it can snap short. It can snap cut. So we're going to use a 0.315 wire. Using two strands, start as you would. Just imagine that the wire is like yarn. And so you're going to start by already putting enough beads for your necklace onto the wire before you start. Okay, so you actually slip them through. Ensure that the whole of the bead can actually take your wire, your two strands of 0.315 wire. You may be surprised that we're using two strands of that instead of using 0.7. You see, the effect of 0.7 is quite different from the effect of 0.315. And so we would use 0.315, but we'll double it. And so you start with just a few chain stitches, or you can actually just start right away with your bead. So with the beads already on the wire, you would actually yarn over and make sure you slip the bead in place, and then you pull out your wire and your chain stitch should be in place. Let's do that again. Remember that we've already put the beads we want to use on the wire. So we're going to slip them on and then slip it in place, and then go on with our hook and draw out the wire again, ready for the next stitch. Chain stitches are formed this way, and in this case you can see that with the size of the bead that we have selected, this 6 mm cut, the beads just occupy a lot of the space, and with their glittering effect, they actually look quite interesting. They don't look as cheap as they are. And so you continue this way. Please note that you need to measure. Making a necklace is predominantly, making a necklace, it's important to get the neck measurement right. Sometimes if the necklace is too long, it could actually go inside the dress and the wearer has to keep on adjusting it. And if it's too short, then it's too tight around the neck and it's uncomfortable. So using your tape rule, let's quickly show you how to do that. You take your tape rule around the base of the neck, making sure that there's about, you can put one finger in and then that should be long enough. So you measure that and that's the desired necklace length. Now, please remember that the length of your clasp still has to be added. So sometimes when we don't remember this, the necklace length then becomes longer than we would want simply because we forgot to calculate the clasp. Now, the clasp set can sometimes be as much as half an inch or even more, and that can be significant depending on where you want your necklace to lie. So we continue until you get the length you want, and then you can stop and just pull out your wire. Once you pull out your wire from inside the last chain, you're fine. And then look at the clasp you want to use. Make sure that you put it in the right direction and then pass the wire through and just secure it. Now you can secure it with a crimp cover to give it that classy look. All right, you can do that for both ends, just like we have done here already. Can you see that? And the crimp cover can be the metal of your choice. It could be gold filled, it could be sterling silver, it could ordinarily just be brass or some base metal, whatever you choose. But guess what? Your necklace is ready and you are ready to go. You could also make a bracelet just like this. Just remember to measure what you need first. Thank you. Remember to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so that you don't miss our every Wednesday tips and DIY ideas from the Crafties channel. See you next time.